exchange with the panelists and network and continue the discussions that unfortunately for a timing reason are limited here on stage. Now we're turning to Nina. Nina, as a representative of Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Styria in Slovenia, according to you, what should be the link between national and European policies that could improve the impact of hydrogen sector? Thanks a lot.
Yes, thank you also from my side for inviting me to this conference today and for taking the time to listen to us. So, yes, I represent the Chamber of Commerce and Industry of Styria region in Slovenia. It's an independent regional chamber, which at the same time has the role of a national manager of a cluster for circular economy, which I'm leading. In that cluster, we have around 100 members now from not only the industry, but also research, academia, and NGOs. So it, let's say, prolongs a little bit the role of the chamber as such. One of the very important topics in that cluster is also hydrogen, even though, yes, let's say the main focus are circular business models, but we believe decarbonization and the transition to a low carbon economy is, of course, key part of that circular economy transition. So my experience stems from that area. This cluster was based and established, let's say, in Slovenia due to the smart specialization strategy, which is a European policy. I'm sure that you all heard of it. For Slovenia, it's a little bit specific because we don't have regions, at least not officially, only for cohesion policy purposes. So Slovenia is divided among West and East Slovenia. West is more developed region, is around Ljubljana, capital city, and the East, where I come from, is the less developed region, so we get more funds. Yes, so the connection between the national and the European policies. I'm sure you've all heard, and it was mentioned in the previous panels, of the competitiveness report from Draghi. We also had in the beginning of the year, in spring, the LETA report about the single European market. I think that first and foremost, we need to have, let's say, a very broad social consensus about the direction where the European policies and therefore also the national policies should go. Without it, we can talk about the transition to low carbon circular economy for years, and you know we will not get there if there will not be a solid support in terms of social acceptance, in terms of political acceptance, and of course the industry. Having said that, I think that the next step, of course, is the know-how. As coming from a very small country with 2 million people, I see that the bureaucratic apparatus is too big for all the challenges that we have in front of us. So, okay, thank you. That's why I think this, let's say, cohesion and solidarity among the European member states is of utmost importance. We need to push also the public administration to, yes, be involved more into such projects that we are presenting here today. But also, let's say, understand their position looking at all the legislation and the, we say, legislative tsunami that was that covered the member states in the last years after the European Green Deal. Having this in mind, interministerial collaboration at the level of the member states, but also among the DGs is crucial, especially for topics such as hydrogen. and public-private partnerships. I think there should be more of those, but functioning public-private partnerships, of course, because I think the hydrogen story, it's not a question of the chicken and the egg, but it's of collaboration and of listening to each other. So the industry as well as the government, and working towards the common goal. Because without this and without the experiences that we all gather throughout implementing projects such as large hydrogen valleys, we will not get to the goal. The underlying measures that need to be taken are, of course, more investment into R&D at the European and national levels. The second thing is that we need more demand-side policies, especially to the industry applications and use of hydrogen, not only mobility. And finally, support schemes like, of course, grants and subsidies, but also quotas and, for example, measures that like carbon contract for difference. I think this de-risking with the carbon contract for difference is crucial. Last but not least, what the industry is pushing a lot, at least in Slovenia, and from this research and innovation aspect, is demonstration sites. We need test beds in order to see what is feasible, what is relevant, what makes sense. And these demonstration sites should promote interregional collaboration. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Nina, for your insights and for stressing also the importance of cohesion, solidarity, public-private partnerships, and interregional collaboration. I have one last question for all of you. If you can please reply with a very brief statement to the following question, starting from Magdalena, and then we will go on with Celine. If you had to choose one, which initiative do you believe will be the most effective to drive the growth of the hydrogen sector in Europe's regions over the next 5 years? You have 30 seconds, 1 minute to reply. It's a challenge.
Okay, because I've mentioned the hydrogen valley Brenner before, I think the hydrogen valleys are an important tool, but all in all, it's not a matter of choice. We have to take the strength of all the initiatives in all over Europe.
Thank you. So Hubert, you mentioned the transport of hydrogen by pipe, and actually I have to mention there's a project called Hyphen that to connect the south of France to Germany, and that would be really good news. I mean, the project applied to CEF funding, and it would be really great news for Imagine and also for building a European network.
Well, I just support what you already said, and I mentioned it before. Pipeline building is crucial, and also it takes time for preparing that. And what I also want to mention here is we have to do the next step now. We have to go away from asking for funds. That is my personal opinion. We have to find other instruments, like the CBAM, like the auctions. So these are closer to a market as just funding is. Funding is putting money into something and looking what happens. What we need is creating a market, and this works better with mechanisms like the auctions than funding money does. So that is my personal opinion, but to be discussed. Thank you.
Well, of course, Interreg projects. But no, I think what, at least from our perspective, really brings some, let's say, pressure and change are the IPCEI projects, important projects of common European interest. And we already have hydrogen projects. Slovenia just joined also this, and we see them as a very good mechanism coordinating all relevant stakeholders.
Thank you very much for all the panelists for giving a brief statement and very clear messages. Now, after a challenge for you, a bit of a challenge for me, as I need to wrap up this interesting conversation. I selected some keywords for as regards the challenges for the big hydrogen projects, the uncertainty, and also the fact that it's an emerging hydrogen economy. Then, regarding the recommendations to speed up the development of full hydrogen value chain, it's the need of cooperation and the support of politics, and stop thinking short term, but more start thinking long term. For what concerns the certification systems, demonstrate we need these systems in place to protect also the consumers. And for what concerns the link between national and European policy is the need to